The Supreme Court continues to improve, especially after a few decades of making some questionable rulings, but there are still individuals on the court who have no idea what they are doing. What's up, guys? My name is Jesse Hughes, and you are watching Resist the Mainstream. The Supreme Court recently overturned a lower court ruling by a vote of 7-2 with a case involving the Fourth Amendment and what constitutes a legitimate police stop. The facts of the case are simple. A guy ran from the cops at 2 a.m. They tried to stop him. They tried to pull him over. And the court basically ruled that the police have a broad ability to use a totality of the circumstances test when they're pulling over vehicles. If a few trivial things that might not seem like they mean much altogether in a totality of the circumstances constitute what would be seen as suspicious behavior, the court said that the cops have a ability to take that into consideration when they're pulling somebody over. Now, there were two dissents in this case, Justice Sotomayor and Justice Jackson, and Jackson's dissent stood alone for a variety of reasons. Now, we're going to get into that in just a second, and we're going to watch a clip about Justice Jackson here at the end, but before we get to that and before we get to anything else, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you never miss any of our content. When you are the lone dissenter on a case, where even the other most liberal judge on the court refuses to join your opinion, that is a bad sign. And we've known this about Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson for a while. Biden said himself when he was appointing a new Supreme Court justice that he was going to appoint a black woman to the court. She is not there on her own merit. She is not there because she deserves to be there. In fact, she doesn't. The only reason she's there is because she's a woman that has a darker shade of skin than I do. This is the kind of DEI that the Trump administration has been fighting to rid the federal government of. This is the kind of thing that makes America a less equal and less fair place to be. This is the kind of thing that keeps young white guys like myself from gaining the same opportunities that our parents and grandparents had. This is the kind of thing we should not tolerate in America. Justice Jackson does not deserve to be on the Supreme Court. She is insane. She's a far-left activist. She's not a legal mind. She's not a scholar. The fact that she is there at all is a tragedy. Hopefully her tenure is short, and hopefully she is impeached or she decides to retire, and we can put someone who actually deserves to be there in her place. Now, I want to hear what you guys think about this. Drop a comment below. Tell me what you think, and let's watch this next clip together.
Courts' stay decisions can, at times, come across utterly irrational. We cannot expect the public to have faith in our judicial system if, without clear explanation, we consistently green-light harmful acts that do real damage.
She's critical of the country, and she's critical of her own court. And she's critical of the fact that the Supreme Court's been a backstop to fix some of these lower court decisions.
And when she says harmful acts, what she's talking about is the Supreme Court allowing the President of the United States to exercise his executive authority. You know, I got to tell you, Brian, the speech that she gave here, it took some serious chutzpah. She's only been on the court for a couple of years. She's the most junior member of the court, and yet she went to Yale and gave a speech where she says, basically, my colleagues are getting it all wrong, and I can be the catalyst for change. And you have to remember, Ketanji Brown Jackson has basically been a rubber stamp for the lower courts that are just blocking every single thing that the Trump administration is trying to do. So again, two different speeches, but I really encourage everyone to go watch Clarence Thomas's speech. It's a national treasure.